really learn fusion in no time? Of course you can. If we look at what we're actually doing on this fretboard and how the fretboard is put together, then it is so easy suddenly to add scale upon scale and technique upon technique with very little effort. And one of the defining places where people often go wrong is modes. Modes are an essential thing in fusion to master. But what if you can master modes in just absolutely no time? That's what we're going to do in this video. So we're just going to take a couple of modes here. And we're going to base it all on the pentatonic scale, because we're going to use the pentatonic scale anyway. Right? It's always at the bottom of what I do. No matter what I play, I know exactly where I am in the pentatonic realm because I love this sound. Right? So we want to have that at our disposal, and so we change the pentatonic scale. We add to the pentatonic scale instead of inventing a whole new scale and play it up and down and up and down and up and down incessantly and not knowing how to absolutely integrate it into what we do already. So let's just start with integration. Let's start with taking something we know and then adding, changing to it, because that is so effective. The brain absolutely loves to learn like that. So you know something already, you're comfortable with something already, now you just go boop, and then suddenly you have a new mode. Right? So let's go close up and let's really look at this and let's learn two new modes, just like that, across the fretboard. So if you have like a C minor pentatonic right there in the 8th fret, got the 8th and the 11th fret on the two top strings, and then 10 and 8 on the G, on the D and the A string, and then 11 and 8 on the low E string, right? And I want to play modes now. I want to play all the modes. And first of all, a mode is nothing but a change in a note. So if I add the Dorian note, or what I call the Dorian note, to the pentatonic, it sounds like this. Right? And all I did here was play the pentatonic scale with that added note. And the cool thing is that once we have added that note in 3 instances in the first position, we can take those instances and play it across the neck, because the rest of the shapes up here are nothing but made up of fragments of the first position. So this is incredibly effective. So if whenever you have 2 minor thirds like that in the scale up on the fretboard, right, 2 minor thirds, it repeats itself all over the place. Then on the low one of these minor thirds, you add the note right there. Right, so that's the Dorian 6, right, or the big 6. So every single time you have 2 minor thirds, and for instance in position 2, I got the 2 minor thirds down here suddenly in the 10th and the 13th fret on both the A string and the D string, and I can just add my note there as well. Right? So now I can, just with that knowledge, I can go. Right? So, and also, if we move on, right, you can say that this shape here from the 10th in the key of C minor, 10 and 13, is also up here. Because of the standard tuning, it's kind of skewed, right? So you have the 12th and you have the... So that's the 3rd position. Right? And right there in the 3rd position. Right? Right? So I can go... So already, by making that one change to this little shape, if I know, let's just assume that we know all the 5 positions, then I can just say, okay, every time I have a minor third, I just add that sound there. That is the sound of the Dorian, right? Let's do Phrygian, right? On these. Also, I should say that, of course, the Dorian, if you take the 2 middle strings, you have that 2 whole tone shape, right? Just add one at the bottom of that whole tone shape. So you got like the 8th and the 10th on the 2 middle strings in your first position. You just add that note right there. That's it. That's Dorian. Right? right? And on the bottom 2 strings, you do nothing. So, right? And very often, by just adding that note, you actually sound more Dorian than if you played the entire Dorian scale, which we're also going to do in the course very easily, as easily as this. But it's a very incredibly effective thing to be aware of where the sound is of the Dorian. That is right there in the minor third, right? And right there, whenever you have 2 whole tone steps like that, almost you go, right? So, and you could take that up here as well. But let's just do the Phrygian, right? Because now we have the Dorian down, and we can practice that in all positions with the 2 minor thirds and with the whole tone, all right? And then let's do Phrygian. That's the flat 9th. That is so Phrygian, it's ridiculous, right? So every time you have a 2 minor thirds, you put a note right there, and that's the Phrygian sound, right? So it sounds incredibly dissonant in the beginning until you get used to it. Right? So just like that, you can play Phrygian. You just play pentatonic, add the distinct note that separates every other scale from Phrygian, the flat 9th, and you got it. So how does the flat 9th look? Right? On the 2 middle strings, it's right there. So I can go to the 2 top strings. Right? And on the 2 bottom strings, in this little structure of notes, you know, the minor third and the whole tone, you just put a note in there in the 9th fret. So now I have that deep, dark sound. Dorian. Right? And Phrygian. Right? So it's that easy. And then you basically take the chord, which is the first position, minor pentatonic here, and say where else can, for instance, where can we find this structure of notes, right? In all the other shapes, well, I got the 8th and the 11th, and then I got the 8th and the 10th, right? If I go to the second position, it's right there, in the middle, on the middle 2 strings suddenly, right? If we go to the third position, it's right up there on the 2 top strings, right? That's the third position, and I can just go, right? In the 4th position, let me see if I can get it right here. I have it on the A string and the D string, right? And so on, right? So if you learn it in the first and you have some knowledge of the other shapes, or you know them completely, then you simply just change the freaking little shape one at a time, and there you have your code, right? It's just telling you 3 shapes and just to put 1 note there, and then you got the whole sound down. It's incredible. So as you can see, we can really get very, very far if we use this one before we start learning. Because any scale on a saxophone is just a scale. It's just something you need to know. But on a guitar, it's different because we have the visuals here. We have shapes that we can look at. Same thing goes for a piano or any other instrument. We have a huge advantage there, and that is one of the things that allows us to get extremely far in a very short period of time. So tune in for the next lesson on Fusion here.